Welcome back to Pop Dissected. Today, we're going to be talking about how Lady Gaga's fifth studio record, Joanne, redefined her career and helped lead her to a new line of artistic expression and a new wave of success. Joanne, in a way, re-established Lady Gaga in a drastically different but effective way. It gave us new insight into Gaga as a person and offered us a new presentation of authenticity and vulnerability. But before we begin, be sure to drop a like and subscribe for more future content on all your favorite pop stars. Now, the transition from the colorful and outrageous Lady Gaga we were introduced to in 2008 began to shift with her fourth studio record, Cheek to Cheek, which gave us a much more subdued version of the singer. The record is a collaboration with jazz singer Tony Bennett, who met Gaga back in 2011. Their first work together was The Lady is a Tramp, released October 3rd of 2011, which reached #1 on the US Jazz Digital Songs chart. By September of the following year, Gaga had reached out to Bennett, requesting the two of them create a jazz record together. The record began its initial creation in March of 2013, with recording beginning in June of that year and a record release slated for January of 2014. The record was pushed back to March of 2014, before finally releasing September 19th, 2014. The record debuted at #1 on the Billboard 200, with 131,000 copies sold. The record didn't spawn any singles that charted on the Hot 100. However, this doesn't really matter, as the record more or less was intended to be a passion project for both Gaga and Bennett, and wasn't intended for a huge commercial release that would gain her tons of success. However, the record earned a Grammy for Best Traditional Pop Vocal Album at the 2015 Grammy Awards. Gaga and Bennett toured the record on the Cheek to Cheek tour from December 30th of 2014 until April 1st of 2015, grossing $15.3 million from reported numbers. So this set the stage for Lady Gaga's transition into a much more softer image. But taking things back now, Artpop. It wasn't a flop, nor was it a huge failure, but the mixed reception led Gaga to question her own talents and led her into a depressed state of mind, which is totally understandable. When any artist puts out a work that is not well received, they're sure to feel upset, embarrassed, or even ashamed of that work. In 2013, Lady Gaga parted ways with Troy Carter, her longtime manager, and a change of image for Gaga was sought out by her new management, now headed by Bobby Campbell. While Cheek to Cheek began this image change for Gaga, it was her performance at the 2015 Academy Awards that officially marked a new era for her. Her performance was met with universal acclaim, and her vocal ability was applauded. I personally don't think Artpop showcased the best of Gaga's ability, and this performance was a way to prove Gaga's talent, and that she in fact does have an incredible voice. This performance would set the stage for Joanne, a focus on her vocal ability and talent, rather than emphasis on production and spectacle. Also in 2015, Gaga won a Golden Globe for her performance in American Horror Story, Hotel. Winning a Grammy, a Golden Globe, and having a universally praised performance all within months of each other surely reminded everyone of Gaga's talent and her capabilities of an artist, which were heavily criticized and doubted by some during the Artpop era. When discussing Joanne prior to it being announced, Gaga stated the record was very much a soul-searching experience, unlike Artpop. The way Gaga described Artpop was essentially as acid, a synthetically created drug. While Gaga favorably compared Artpop to acid as a way to survive her life, I personally think this comparison details more. I see it as Artpop was synthetic, manufactured, an attempt to be something else. Her upcoming record would be the opposite, very honest, very authentic, and very true. Both Lady Gaga and Mark Ronson served as executive producers on Joanne, and Ronson urged Gaga to write honest lyrics about whatever was going on in her life, and has stated the record is very honest and how you can hear it in her vocal performance. In September of 2016, Gaga announced the record, along with its first single, Perfect Illusion. The official title of Joanne was announced that same month, confirming its release date for October. Perfect Illusion released September 9th of 2016. It debuted and peaked at 15 on the Hot 100. The track received generally positive reviews, but the biggest critique being her vocals and how they appear to not be corrected much throughout the song. I think the intention of the track is to show honest, raw vocals that aren't covered up with effects, echoes, or distortions. And as I've said, Joanne's intent from the very beginning was to reflect this new, authentic, honest side of Gaga. The music video received a lot of commentary, many noting how much more toned down and much more of a simple concept it had compared to her previous videography. Some noted the radical departure of the video solely focusing on Gaga herself was welcome, while others lamented the drastic change. The record's second single, Million Reasons, released November 8th of 2016. The track peaked at number 4 on the Hot 100 and earned a nomination at the 2018 Grammys for Best Pop Solo Performance. The reviews to the song were mixed, however. Some praised Gaga's vulnerability and heartbreaking lyrics, noting Gaga may be bringing back an era of artists focusing solely on their vocal ability over spectacle. Some oppose this idea, however, simply calling the track forgettable and labeling the era as a disaster upon the track's release. The music video picks up at the end of Perfect Illusion. The video at its core centers around Gaga being rescued from the desert by her friends. One critic noted how Million Reasons expertly continues Perfect Illusion, noting that Perfect Illusion seemed to allude to Gaga having to tour with her hip problems, A Million Reasons being her friends rescuing her from that pain and helping her heal. I think these two videos really give us this honest insight into Gaga and make audiences see her in a new light. And I know I keep using the same words to describe this era, but there's no better way to describe it. These two singles and their videos help reshape the idea and persona of Lady Gaga. We aren't focusing on elaborate costumes, striking production design, or flashy visuals. These videos and songs are focused on Gaga's life, her story, her struggles. In a way, Gaga is humanizing herself in a way that makes her even more relatable and understandable for so many people. The final single off Joanne was the title track, released worldwide on January 26th of 2018. The track is about the death of Gaga's own aunt, Joanne, and how her family felt during that time. The death of Joanne became the driving force behind the record itself. The title track did not chart on the Hot 100, but however, it did win a Grammy at the 2019 awards ceremony for Best Pop Solo Performance. The song was met with much positive reception, noting it was Gaga's most honest, true, and real track she's ever delivered in her career. Once more, we start to see how Gaga's new image of authenticity really worked for audiences. The video follows the end of the music video for John Wayne, which followed the end of Million Reasons. The video for John Wayne was favorably compared to Gaga's earlier videography, but still maintained the established image of the Joanne era. The music video for Joanne is dedicated to Joanne herself, opening with information on who she was. The video features a simplistic story, showing Gaga with her friends, intercut with shots of her singing. The video was praised for its simplicity, some critics noting that this is the Gaga we've been waiting to see, and that this video shows us a true, real version of her. But before we get into the record's release, we can see the singles and videos alone helped effectively shift Gaga's persona into something more subdued, focusing on her own personal life and struggles. Gaga essentially traded her over-the-top videography and production for a much more simplistic approach, which in turn helps showcase not only her vocal ability, but her true artistic intentions. Now, onto the record. Joanne released October 21st, 2016, debuting at number 1 on the Billboard 200 with 201,000 album equivalent units, 170,000 which were pure sales. This debut led Gaga to becoming the first woman of the 2010s to have 4 records debut at number 1 on the Billboard 200. The record was nominated at the 2018 Grammys for Best Pop Vocal Album and has been certified platinum in the United States for selling over 1 million album equivalent units. Now, Joanne, Gaga's aunt, profoundly impacted the direction of this record, which carries the central underlying theme of family. Gaga's record, The Fame, included a poem written by Joanne in the record booklet. Gaga dedicated the Fame Ball Tour to Joanne, and additionally has Joanne's date of passing tattooed on her arm. Despite never meeting Joanne, Gaga credits her to helping her overcome her addiction to drugs, citing Joanne as one of the most important figures in her life. Gaga's parents also opened an Italian restaurant in New York, dedicated to Joanne. We can see with this that Gaga is channeling such a personal aspect of her life and made it the jumping off point for this record. By connecting her music to something so personal, Gaga became a new artist in a way. She wasn't masked with electronic sounds. She wasn't hidden behind wild costumes, nor recognized for outlandish performances. This era, Gaga was recognized for her vulnerability, her honesty, her intention of being brave and so raw about her feelings. The record reshaped how the general public viewed Lady Gaga following Artpop. They saw this strong woman who wasn't afraid to be so vulnerable about the most intimate details of her life and how they affected her. They saw a woman with incredible vocal talent and inspiring yet heartbreaking lyricism. People saw Stephanie Joanne Angelina Germanata. I think Gaga really wanted to show people this raw side of who she was. She didn't need the spectacle she's carried throughout her career. And Gaga proved her talent of singing and writing is true and incredible. Another thing to point out is critics have also noted how Joanne has influenced other artists and their work, such as Miley Cyrus's Younger Now and Kesha's own Rainbow. They've noted the transition from the wild spectacle to the more subdued and country aspect of those respective eras. Gaga's success and public recognition would only continue with the release of the film and soundtrack, A Star Is Born. The soundtrack debuted at #1 on the Billboard 200, and all 3 of its singles earned at least 1 Grammy nomination. The soundtrack earned a total of 7 Grammy nominations, 4 in 2019 and 3 for 2020. The biggest single off the record, Shallow, has won 2 Grammy Awards, and additionally a Golden Globe and an Academy Award. Shallow reached #1 on the Hot 100 and has been met with universal acclaim. While I don't think Joanne solely led to Gaga's overwhelming success in recent years, I think it was a catalyst for it. After years of being seen as weird for her costumes and videos, and the mixed reception of Artpop, Gaga was able to take a step back and successfully reinvent herself. But she didn't try to force a new image that would come across as dishonest. She didn't promise a change and then stay the exact same. She's still Lady Gaga, but she's evolved into a more true, more authentic version of herself. Joanne helped the world see this powerful, extremely talented woman. With Joanne, there was no more denying Lady Gaga's talent. She was recognized for her vocals, writing, and vulnerability. While of course, many people have already praised Gaga and related to her prior to the release of Joanne, this record reflected a new side that not only appealed to the masses, but presented a human, someone who struggles, someone who has pain, someone who wants to heal. Joanne rebirthed Lady Gaga, and the way she's been seen by so many people, it further cemented her as a truly incredible artist of this generation, and I have no doubt her next record will only further do that more. Thank you so much for watching, everyone. Comment down below what you think of Lady Gaga's Joanne era and what you expect for her upcoming record. Be sure to drop a like and subscribe for more future content on all your favorite pop stars.